welcome to lesson 38. This is fractions and mixed numbers on a number line. So this is very important, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult to be able to read mixed numbers because you get confused with maybe the spaces or the lines. What do you count? And we're going to be going over those, so that way we'll be more clear about how to read different numbers on a number line. Now, first of all, the important thing is a mixed number. I've used this before. When we write quotients as mixed numbers, you learned that in 4th grade. Mixed number is a mix, or it's a whole number and a fraction together. So I usually think if you have a mixed number, you have a mix between a whole number and a fraction. For example, 1.5. All right, so whenever we're reading mixed numbers on a number line, you're reading a number that's larger than maybe a whole number and smaller than another whole number. Now, the way that we count them on this number line, for example, we count the sections that are in between our whole numbers. So I'm not counting my lines. It's very important. I'm not counting 1, 2. Okay, so it's half, because if it was half, it would be split directly with one line in half, one hash mark. I'm counting the sections in between the whole numbers so that I can figure out what am I looking at. So this is split into 3 equal parts. That means I have thirds. So this would be 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3 is considered one whole. That's why we have not 1/2 and 2/2. 1/3, 2/3, that would be 3/3, which is a whole. This would be 1 1/3, 1 2/3, 2. 2 1/3, 2 2/3, 3. 3 1/3, 3 2/3, 4. All right, so we're going to look at, which I already counted all of them for you, but we're going to look at letters A and B and what they are labeling. Remember, I'm counting the spaces in between to realize what is my denominator in this fraction. My whole number right here is 1, so I know it's at least 1. I'm not just going to say, okay, this is whatever fraction. I can't forget my whole number, so I know it's at least 1. I'm not at 2 yet. So my whole number is going to be 1. I'm going to figure out I have thirds because it's split. My whole number right here is split into 3 equal parts. And I'm looking at the first line. So that means this is 1 1/3. All right, now we're going to look at letter B. Again, it's not at 4 yet. It's past the 3 though. So I'm going to have at least 3. 3 is my whole number. Now I'm going to look at what fraction I have that makes my mixed number. I have 3 1/3, 3 2/3. It's on my second line. That would be my numerator. It's split into 3 equal parts. That's my denominator. So 3 2/3 is what letter B is. 1 1/3 is what letter A is. So now looking at that, I want you to go ahead and look at example 1. Name the fraction or mixed number on each of these lines. So you're going to have maybe a fraction, you could have a mixed number. You're going to have to determine that to see. I want you to go ahead and try that in your spiral and write your answers down. You won't have to draw the number lines because I know that would take quite a bit of time. But go ahead and try to determine, mainly the first thing you have to do is count the spaces in between your whole numbers. And then that will determine what your denominator is of the fraction. So letter A, the first one, I'm going to count my spaces. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. That means it's split into 4 equal parts. I have fourths. I'm past 0, so I know I'm more than 0, but I'm less than a whole number. I don't even have a whole number then, because I'm not going to write 0 and whatever fraction that is. I'm going to just write the fraction. And I'm on the first line, so that means this is 1/4. If this was 1/4, it would be 2/4, 3/4, and a whole. So I know I'm correct. I have 1/4 for letter A. Probably should write it in different colors since I have a lot of black there. We'll do dark blue. All right, now I have letter B. I'm past 1, but I'm less than 2, so I'm not at 2 yet. I know I still, on the same number line, I still have fourths. So my whole number is 1. Because I know I have more than one whole. I have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So my mixed number is 1 3/4. All right, letter C. We're looking at past number 5, but it's not at number 6 yet, so my whole number is 5. I'm going to count my spaces in between. This is a separate number line, so I'm not guaranteed to still have fourths. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means I have fifths. That's my denominator. That's my whole number in between. So it's split into 5 equal parts. I'm at 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5. So 5 and 4/5 is what letter C is. Now letter D, it's still split into fifths because it's all on the same number line. And I'm at 1/5 here. My whole number is 6 because I'm past the 6. So I'm more than 6, but I'm less than 7. So that's my whole number. 6 and 1/5. So hopefully you got those answers and hopefully you understand. First you count your spaces in between, that determines your denominator. And then I count my lines, that determines your numerator. Alright, now for example 2 says on one number line, the fraction 2/3 is graphed, right here. On the other number line, 3/4 is graphed, right here. Now, looking at these two number lines in comparison, can you determine which is greater, 2/3 or 3/4? I know most of you probably already know this off the top of your head without even seeing them graphed, but it's important to also kind of tell because I know that both of these are bigger than 0, but they're less than 1. And we've always compared fractions by determining, okay, is it more than half, less than half, or equal to half? Well, both of these fractions actually happen to be more than half. So now we're getting to fractions that are closer together. So this is how we're going to compare them. If I draw them in between 0 and 1, because we know it's bigger than 0 and less than 1, and I split 1 into 4 equal parts. I have 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I split the other into thirds, 1, 2, 3. And I can see that 3/4 is actually slightly bigger than 2/3. It's slightly closer to 1 here on this line than it is on this number line. So 2/3 is less than 3/4. Thank you so much for listening and paying attention. We'll go over some of the practice problems in class together.